Hello, my name is Troy Perkins, and this is the story of my relationship with researcher, storyteller, educator, and author Brene Brown. Over the summer, I was taking some time off before going back for fall quarter at CW Linwood. I decided to take the summer off from studying for the first time in a long time and enjoy time with my family. I was going into the last year of pursuing my bachelor's degree. I had worked over 3 years, and a lot had changed in my life, so I took some much needed time off. One sunny day I was talking with my wife. My wife was talking and I was observing my normal position of listening stoically and being just enough of the conversation not to make her mad at me. My wife was telling me about her day and the plans for the week when she stopped and she says, I've been reading this book. It's a great book. It's all about how to recover from setbacks and failures. It's called Rising Strong, and the author's name is Brene Brown. It's a very interesting read, and I think it'll help you open up and help with your communication skills. My communication skills, I thought? What does she mean by my communication skills? My communication skills are great. I talk good. So I say to her, whatever, I'll look at it, I guess. Over the next week, I took a look at that book. I read that book. I went through that book. The personal stories, the ideas, the Theodore Roosevelt man in the arena quote, and gosh darn it, I finished that book. When I was done, my wife asked me what I thought. I thought it was okay. She talked a lot about herself is what I said. My wife made a comment with that look that she reserves for me when I might have missed something important. Well, she has another book. I'm sure it's great, I told my wife. How about I read it after fall quarter is over? Saying this in hopes that I would be able to rid this brown lady from my life just for a little bit. Telling me to do stuff and wanting me to be vulnerable and everything. Come on, who did she think she was? As the summer came to an end, I readied myself for the distraction of academia and business. I was excited for this quarter too. This quarter I was taking a class in leadership, which was a topic I really was interested in and wanted to gain knowledge on. In my life, I'd always jumped at the chance to lead, mostly because I was not one to follow. Growing up, I was the youngest of 4 and the only boy, so often I had to forge my own path and find my own way. Through the years, I took many opportunities to stand up and stand out. In music, in sports, in school, but for as often as I took the lead, I didn't really understand what it was to be a leader. What really made a leader great. By taking this class, I hope that I could find a path to leadership and beyond. As the quarter progressed, I worked on my classes, reading, writing, and trying to process all the lessons. Lessons that were on leaders and where they come from, why leaders lead, something called VABES, and who I really wanted to be, and the 3 levels of leadership. I learned I was level 3. I used VABES and stories to connect with people around me. The more I learned, the more I tried to connect the materials to my work life. A lot connected greatly, but there seemed to be something that wasn't getting connected, something that I felt I was missing. I was telling my wife about leadership in the other classes and how they're progressing, and she says, that book I was telling you about, it's on leadership, the one by Brene Brown, the one that you're going to read during the break, remember? Right, that one. Sure. Once again, I was hoping that I could shelf my next interaction with Brene Brown for just a little bit longer. But, as my grandpa always said, you can't escape fate. That night, I was going through my weekly module for leadership, learning about self-leadership, and much to my surprise, there she was, again, twice, Brene Brown. And now she does TED Talks. TED Talks that once again were telling me to be vulnerable. Pshaw, I thought, pish-posh and all that. As I was sitting there thinking to myself, what is with all this openness and understanding lately with business? That's when it hit me. That was it. That was the piece that I was missing. Perhaps the piece that I was fighting. To understand how to lead, you must be vulnerable, and you have to understand that vulnerability is a strength. Vulnerability, understanding, finding the place where failure lives and finding your path past it, rising strong, that brown lady had got me. To understand how to best connect with people, how to lead, you must connect and understand your own vulnerability. Being vulnerable, though, doesn't come easy to me. Strength is my strength. Steadfastness, Smoldering, silent stoicism. That's me. But a lot had happened to make me this way. In the end, it was those things that happened that would lead me out. But first, I had to go into the places I hid from for a long time. I had to take a long look at things that made me the most vulnerable. If I couldn't face what was wrong, I couldn't do what was right. If I couldn't tell my whole story, I would be telling half-truths. I had to lean into that vulnerability. Through the years, I had worked hard to set myself on a path of success and happiness. I met a girl. I went back to finish college. In that time, we married, and before I knew it, we were going to have a child of our own. In the months before my daughter was born, I did everything I could think of to try and prepare. Books, classes, talking with friends who had kids, anything I could do to piece together the information I needed. But it wasn't the pieces from others that I needed to make me whole. It was that one piece that I had locked away, and it was going to be up to me to take it out and see if it could still fit into my life. Okay. Shortly after my daughter was born, I made the decision to try and connect with my father, a man who left when I was 18 months old. I never let the fact that my father wasn't around define my life. I had my grandfather, and the lessons he taught me were the foundations of who I am today. So, with my older sister's help, I called my father some of those pieces to try and put some of those pieces together. The pieces of me that was him, even if I didn't want to say so, and even if it wasn't clear to me at the moment. He lived in Oregon. He wasn't close, but he wasn't far away, and it wasn't unthinkable to try and go and see him. So I made my plans to go and visit, just me, for the first time, at the end of spring quarter of last year. 2 weeks before the end of spring quarter, I got a call from my oldest sister, saying that he had suffered a heart attack. He was recovering, and once he was okay and out, he wanted to still see me. I made sure I had everything in line to visit. Everything was in order so I could go and see him. The day after he left the hospital, he passed away in his home. I never got to see him, never got to meet him. I took summer quarter off so that I could go down to Oregon to see my father be buried. I stuck it all back and decided that I would just enjoy the summer with my family. One sunny day I was talking with my wife. My wife was telling me about her day and the plans for the week when she stopped and says, "You know, I've been reading this book. It's a great book, and it's all about how to recover from setbacks and failures. It's called Rising Strong. The author's name is Brene Brown. It's a very interesting read, and I think it'll help you open up and help you with your communication." I'm taking the steps into vulnerability. I still have a long journey ahead of me. I'm opening up and talking about things that make me feel most vulnerable, because some lady named Brown and a class on leadership showed me that what was really missing from me was to open up so I could connect, so I could find the path that would help me lead myself out and rise strong. Thank you.